Unrequited by Kevin E. Porter. The ancient mansion stood alone in the darkness of the cold autumn night. Centuries-old ivy besieged its stone and mortar walls. Wrought iron sconces added opulence to the ornately carved balustrades. The effect was haunting, yet peaceful. That peace was broken when the main entrance burst open, piercing the night with light hemorrhaging from the home's interior, as it disgorged a very attractive and yet very naked young woman. She ran down the elegant steps, clutching her recently discarded clothing in one hand while negotiating her footwear and car keys in the other. She tossed her clothes and shoes through the open window onto the passenger seat before rounding the back of the car to open the driver's side door. She neither spoke nor dressed before clambering behind the wheel and speeding away. Alan stood barefoot and shirtless in the entranceway, watching as his date departed. "Was it something I said?" a voice called out from behind him. In a lower tone, the speaker said, "Huh, she's going to catch her death of cold carrying on like that." Alan watched the vehicle's tail lights fade into the darkness as he addressed the empty interior of his home. "Why do you keep doing this to me?" He slowly turned and moved dejectedly back inside, closing the doors behind him. "Oh, please. You could do better." A mist began to form in front of him and coalesced into the image of Danny, Alan's long-dead best friend. The specter was strikingly handsome. He looked to be in his mid-20s with brown hair and hazel-colored eyes. "What are you talking about? She was perfect," Alan moaned. "If by that you mean perfectly put together, I must agree. You know those weren't real, right? After all, you spent the entire evening fondling them." "I can't believe you asked her if she bought them online." "Well, I was curious. You know they sell pretty much everything on that World Wide Web. Maybe she got them at www.buyboobies.com. Danny floated over to the couch while Alan stood shaking his head in annoyance. "Or perhaps Boobs Are Us. I was really trying to make things work with Sheila." Alan's suddenly sullen expression elicited a pang of sympathy from Danny. Still, the ghost couldn't quell the need to dig deeper. "You were having a hard enough time making her bra strap work." Alan rolled his eyes at the shade. "You know what I mean. It looks like I'll spend the rest of my life alone." "You're not alone. You have me," Danny said in an attempt to cheer Alan up. As an afterthought, he added, "She wasn't right for you. You deserve so much more than what she had to offer. After all, she was only interested in your money, and you were only interested in—" "That's not true. I loved her." Danny grumped. "Huh, let's just see how much she loved you." His hand vanished beneath the cushions of the couch, then emerged, holding a thin, rectangular object. "Is that what I think that is?" "Maybe." Danny sounded intentionally vague. "Give me that." Alan snatched the phone from his phantom friend. After a moment of tinkering, he announced, "Good, it's locked. I'll take it back to her in the morning. I hope she makes it home okay." "Great. Now she has no way of calling if she needs help." "Chill, Will. I'll nip out later and check on her. But first, let's just see what she's been saying about you." "I told you the phone—" While Alan was speaking, the Eidolon tweaked the device with a translucent finger. The screen came alive as the security was bypassed. Alan was now staring at the welcome screen of the phone belonging to his recently departed guest. "I'm not doing this," he said while pressing the power button to relock the phone. "Don't you want to know the truth? Don't you want to know what she really thinks of you?" "I already know what she thinks of me." "I rather doubt that." "Why? Have you been snooping?" "No, of course not." Danny's denial was implausible at best. Alan looked at him incredulously. Danny continued, "More like, researching. Yeah, I was researching her phone to, see if it," then as if struck by an epiphany, belonged to her. I mean, to see to whom it belonged. Alan rolled his eyes, but he had to admit his curiosity was piqued. Against his own better judgment, he held the phone out to Danny, who, once again, unlocked the device. This time, instead of the phone's welcome screen, Alan was greeted with a screen displaying a conversation between Sheila and Nicole. He gave Danny an inquisitive look. I thought I'd save you a little time. Danny watched as Alan became increasingly crestfallen. I'm sorry, Alan. I just thought you should know. After a few minutes of reading, Alan replied, I was a joke to her. His tone was pitiable. Alan stopped reading. There was a lengthy silence. When he spoke, his voice was thick with emotion. What does it matter? You were going to come with us regardless. That's what you do. How is this my fault? Danny felt the cut of Alan's accusation. You keep scaring off all the girls I'm interested in. Only because the girls you're interested in tend to be gold diggers. I'm trying to look out for you. Gee, thanks, Mom. Your mother happens to agree with me. We both worry about you. You need someone who loves you, not your bank account. You've spoken to my mother? Of course I have. She and I talked about you all the time when we were both alive, so it's only natural that she and I talk about you now. Just because we died doesn't mean we stopped caring, so why doesn't she ever visit me? I suppose because she's rather busy trying to keep your dad in line. Sheesh, you thought he was a handful when he was alive. You should see him now. Really, I don't know why your mother bothers. Look, it's not just Sheila. You do this every time. First there was Gloria, then Liz, Alan continued to enumerate, Karen, Rona. Oh, I certainly remember Rona. You told her the reason I haunted this place was because this is where I had committed suicide. What was I supposed to tell her? That you were prowling around on our roof when you fell to your death? Which reminds me, you never did explain to me what you were doing that night. That is a secret I shall take to my grave. You already have. Ouch. Kick a man when he's down. The apparition assumed what was supposed to be an alluring pose. Besides, I know someone who loves you just the way you are. Alan poured himself another glass of wine, then looked in Danny's direction and nearly choked on the sparkling Moscato. Coughing to clear his airway, he pointed to the lower part of the revenant's form. Danny looked down and gasped loudly. He was only visible from the waist up. This has never happened to me before. Performance anxiety? I hear 1 in 5 men. Alan shrugged. The wraith responded melodramatically. Throwing himself at Alan's feet, he cried, Tell me true. Can you find it in your heart to love half a man? You're dead, Danny. Half a dead man, then? Maybe I should move. Well, you do have that lovely villa near Saint-Tropez. We could go there. I meant to move away from you. Such a kidder. You know I'm bound to you, not your house. Terrific. My one lasting relationship is with a dead guy. Don't knock it. You could be totally alone. Or even worse, with Sheila. At least she was pretty. Ouch! And tangible. Double ouch, Danny continued. Alan rolled his eyes. He was still annoyed at how his evening had turned out. Seriously, why haven't you moved on? What are you waiting for? There was no melodrama this time, only fathomless despair. The same thing I was waiting for in life. Alan snapped. And what exactly was that? As Danny faded from sight, his voice echoed down the empty halls in tones the living cannot hear. You. The end.